Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been so long since I posted anything, so I figured I'd make a video talking about Blue Archive characters that I think personally are not the worst, but probably the least usable compared to other characters in the game. And just talk about what's wrong with them, what I think is their main issue, and you can also see there's some personal bias in a lot of these characters. So I want to note before I start that a lot of just because they're bad or not usable everywhere doesn't mean that they're intrinsically bad. A lot of them are just really niche usage. So I mean, you can still use any character you want, right? So but be aware that you might struggle a little bit more if some of the characters aren't that good. Also, another note before I continue on and actually start listing characters, I say general gameplay a lot in this video, and when I say general gameplay, I mean like the story stages and just stages where the challenge isn't that high or the difficulty isn't set that high, not like raids or challenge stages. The main character that started this entire tirade for me, this entire idea of talking about stuck or having the worst characters in my mind stuck in my mind for the longest time, is definitely Fina, because I love her, I adore her style. I think she's probably one of the coolest looking characters, but holy jeebus, is she like, she got the bad end of the stick. While I talk about what the main issue is, for each character, I'm going to have their skill up on the screen next to them. So, Fina uses a machine gun as her weapon. Okay, that's normal. A lot of them do. More specifically, this machine gun she needs to place on the mounted bipod. It might be a tripod, my bad. With this in mind, I want to talk about two skills besides her X skill that boost her damage. So, her sub skill takes that tripod or that bipod and makes it so that her whole kit is based around sitting still and gaining a boost of attack speed while sitting still. After 10 seconds, Fina gains a boost of attack speed depending on what level the skill is. Now keep in mind, in Blue Archive, everybody fires in bursts when they have a rapid fire weapon, okay? So let's say it has 50 bullets in the mag. They might fire 5 bullets at a time for 10 bursts, right? Until they have to reload. With this in mind, attack speed reduces the time between bursts of a bullet, or of the gun. Her second skill that boosts her damage, besides the X one, is her passive, which just adds crit to her. After that, her X skill further adds more damage by giving her an attack boost along with specifically reducing the delay between a certain amount of attacks depending on the X level of the skill, or the level of the X skill. Based on all these skills, needing her to sit down and plant up and just get going, she excels in somewhere where she can't move, right? Or where she doesn't need to move. Since if she needs to move, she'll be constantly losing the bonus and then not getting it again. This is what makes Fina suffer in most of the game. You can't use her in most stages, as most stages have your team moving from one group of enemies to the next after defeating a group, right? But for Fina, she is so specifically good at fighting bosses, she suffers from the opposite of what I'm going to talk about most characters do today, which is where most characters are really good at one specific thing that it makes them suffer in the general play of the game. But for Fina, it's actually the opposite. Even though it's good to just have her as like a backup character to Maki, because she's essentially Maki without any defense debuffs and less damage. The next character is Airi, who many of you might not even have heard of before. So Airi is similar to Fina in that she's really specifically good at one thing, and Irie is really good at slowing the speed of enemies and boosting attack speed of your team. But the issue is, in generally everywhere in the game, you don't need that. You don't need attack speed boosts in story missions where red enemies are. You don't need to decrease the attack of or the attack speed of the enemy. We haven't noticed that yet. The only place that she excels at, weirdly, is in the insane difficulty of Shirokuro because of her movement speed debuff on her X skill. There you go. I hate to put her on this list, but Asuna's next. If you have Izuna, you don't need Asuna. But just like Maki and Fina, it helps to have a pocket / discount version of Izuna. Also, she's really good for just like general stages or general gameplay where there's blue enemies. Yeah. But the investment is really high, and there's other better Millennium units. So, like, I don't know if you like her, I guess. Yeah. Oh boy. Everybody's favorite burger eating gremlin? I don't know. Fun fact, if you didn't know, that burger actually has a chocolate bar in it. I think Izumi's kit is interesting, but ultimately hurts her as an auto attacker because where many of the other auto attack units have just time-based auto attacks or like special normal skills. Hers is actually chance-based and then has a cooldown too, which somewhat hurts her. She's okay to use, but just remember that there's better options out there. I don't even know. Poisoning the enemies would be great if, you know, it did decent damage, and also if Hibiki wasn't a thing. So just, I mean, use her during the Red Winter event, like Cherry's event, for the free event points or whatever. But yeah, I hate doing this to one of my favorite characters, but oh my gosh, fear is just not needed. I mean, as cool as it is to have a character completely dedicated to one concept, I mean, it's just not good in execution. Her X costs way too much for what it does. You'll use it, and if the enemy doesn't die, they just run away, and then usually your team is trying to shoot them, but the team can't shoot them anymore because now they're way farther than the range. But I will say, her live TD is one of the best in the game, easily. And also, it's hard to justify spending resources on her when people from the same school include, I don't know, Aru, Haruna, Akko, Hina. Who else? Oh no, that's it. Those are a couple good all-stars from that school. This one feels weird to put on this list. I don't know. I still personally don't understand where she's supposed to be used. I think she's designed for PvP. I mean, luckily there's only a few units, or 2 units, that use Valkyrie mats until the Rabbit Squad shows up. So you could level her up if you wanted to and use her. I think by the time that Fubuki comes out, you might have gathered more materials anyway. So she has accuracy debuffs and recovery debuffs, or healing debuffs. So yeah, PvP, right? I think she's role-playing as a cop, not actually being a cop. I think I leveled this character up as a joke. Compared to Shizuko, Shimiko is just a worse version. Defense buffs aren't as good as the crit rate buff. I mean, yeah, just use Shizuko instead if you're gonna make a barricade. I mean, it's a fun meme, I guess, in general play when you just see her drop a barricade of books, but like you're just hindering yourself. I guess her live DD is kind of cool, but yeah. This character's kit is the embodiment of the resident sleeper emote. I think her kit is contender for easily the most boring kit in the game. She's like extremely average for general play. Like average, like so average. I will say her live 2D is amazing though. I think this is genuinely the only character in the game where she would be a contender for getting a rework, or like the only kit update to the game. And instead of having stun on her X skill, give her the only person, or make her the only person to have like a blind status effect, because she's using a flashbang. Just say it's a stun grenade if it's a stun grenade. Like, come on, how can you miss that opportunity? I actually can't say anything about this. I have her leveled up, so, you know. I just don't even, like, it's a funny joke, the turret thing. Like, I guess, like, you needed someone to be, like, a summoner, almost. But, like, just don't. I don't know. She has, it's a funny meme. She looks cool. She's, like, fully decked out in purple. Yeah. I don't know. Don't level her, because Hibiki's from the same school. And finally, the last person I could think of off the top of my head. I think her kit is so average, and it's like fine, right? But there's just better supports to put your mats into from Trinity. They have some of the best healers, like most of the healers. So just avoid putting mats into her. Yeah, it sucks, but you know. That's all the characters I can think of that I would say aren't the greatest in Blue Archive for sure. They could definitely use a looking at for their kit. But even then, like some of the worst units we have, or worst initially that we thought were bad, got used later on in the JP server. So it's more of a matter of, I think, not having their place, right? I wanted to mention, I'm sorry for not posting after I posted the tier list video and the follow-up videos. Got busy, and a combination of scatterbrain, you know, just get distracted while I'm making a video. If you do want to hang out more and hear me go on unhinged rants about why Kayoko's jacket is the coolest looking jacket of all the characters in the game, please come to my Twitch channel. I try to stream relatively often, not always Blue Archive. Sometimes I start with Monster Hunter or Azure Lane sometimes, or sometimes Arc Knights if I really want to pull my hair out. But yeah, we usually hang out, have a good time. You can ask me questions directly. Yeah. Sorry for being gone. I've been binge watching Kaiser MLG from the Arc Knights community recently, who does story-based videos. And yeah, so I figured I'd try making videos kind of like that for Blue Archive at least, because they seem fun. Thank you.